Hello again. So today I'm in a 2008 Jeep Cherokee. It's not the Grand Cherokee, it's just the slightly smaller Cherokee, which I didn't even know they still made, to be honest. I know from like 02 onwards they did that rounded, horrible shape. I didn't even know about this car until I bought one the other day. It's basically the same as the Dodge Nitro of the same sort of era, so it's quite a boxy shape. In fact, that's one of the things that I really like about it. It looks like a Tonka toy. It looks like it's been designed by somebody using only a ruler and straight edge. I think Jeep must have got the person who was responsible for like the early 90s Volvo estates to design this car, because it's so boxy. It's got the aerodynamic properties of a bungalow. And you can now get these for about £6,000. So, on the face of it, it looks like a bargain. And then you think, how can Jeep make something that looks so good for so little? And then you get inside and it all becomes apparent. Now, some sort of creaking, some interior trim that's creaking at the moment. Normally I can't hear it because of the radio, but yeah, I don't know what that is. But yeah, the plastic it's the scratchiest, cheapest plastic I've seen in a car for some time. In fact, there are areas of it that are actually sharp to touch. So that's why it's so cheap, really. The steering's very light. Completely, I was going to say vague, but it's even worse than that. It's just, there's no feeling whatsoever, it's just light. And it looks like quite a big car, this, but it's not really. The small windows and the big panels make it look kind of like a Hummer H2 or something, but it's not a very big car. Now this one's got a 2.8 litre turbo diesel. I think in America they probably use a 3.5 litre V6 or something, which might be better. This one's quite a noisy engine, actually. It produces 175 horsepower, and this one's an automatic. They do it in a manual, which I wouldn't want in one of these. An American Jeep manual gearbox would be terrible, I think. So, I mean, if you can live with the cheap quality interior, you do get lots of extras. I've got heated seats, electric seats. What else have I got? Auto lights, auto wipers. It's quite a rugged looking four-wheel drive, so I don't know. I don't know whether it's good off-road or not, actually. In the UK, this engine's in the highest tax bracket, so it's £530 a year to tax. It averages about 25 miles per gallon, so it's not the most fuel efficient car, certainly not the cheapest to run. Performance wise, it's okay. When the turbo kicks in it's got enough power, I suppose. It's not thrilling to drive at all. All the buttons feel quite cheap, quite flimsy. Everything feels kind of a bit loose and it's just poorly built, but it's built to a budget, that's why it's cheap. So now it's 10 years old, you can pick them up for £5 or £6 grand. It's no surprise that they're that cheap, really. I do like the styling of this. Most cars these days, well, most four-wheel drives these days are curvy and the lines are soft, whereas this is unashamedly square. There's no denying that it's a Jeep either, with that grille at the front. Everyone knows that you're in a Jeep straight away. I do quite like this car. It's kind of like, it's a bit Defender-ish, actually, in that you know it's rubbish, but it's still got a bit of charm and a bit of character about it. So in terms of handling, there is lots of body roll. Yeah, lots of body roll. Now here in the UK, in a right-hand drive car, everything, well, you can tell everything's made for the left-hand drive market. So for some reason I've got the handbrake in the passenger side of the car, which you've got to reach all the way over there just to put on. It does get quite tiring to drive this car, actually. It's just a lazy car. It's a lazy engine, lazy gearbox. I think it was designed just to drive from drive-through to drive-through. You can definitely tell that it was designed for American roads on a grid network rather than twisty country English roads like these. Now, one thing, I don't know whether this is good or bad, but you don't see many of these on the roads. So if you are after something that's a little bit unique and a little bit rare, then this probably isn't a bad idea. And the Dodge Nitro that it shares the same platform is also a good-looking, boxy car. I mean, the boot's not the biggest. In fact, for what looks like quite a big car, the interior space isn't very good. Especially, like I say, in the right-hand drive version, I'm cramped up over here because of the tunnel for the transmission. So I've got nowhere for my left leg. Rear legroom's not great. And the middle seat has got the tunnel for the transmission, and a cup holder jammed in there, obviously because it's American. It just feels so American, this car. That's not necessarily a compliment, actually. The chassis feels like any other Jeep that I've driven, which is pretty terrible, actually. You get this floaty feeling. I don't know why they do it. It's not as bad as the old Grand Cherokees that used to feel like they were floating at the back. If you covered up all the badges on this car and got somebody to jump in the driver's seat, they would know straight away that it's an American car. All the buttons and switches and stuff, they're always in the same place and they're always in the same materials. You've got the volume controls behind the steering wheel, which is like a typical American thing of this era. As cheap as the interior is, and it is cheap, there's no doubt about it, everything that you actually touch, like the armrest and the steering wheel and the grab handle here on the passenger side, is all covered in decent leather or leatherette. They feel a little bit premium, at least. That Tonka toy styling continues to the interior as well, because everything you touch is massive. You can't rush this car at all. You put your foot down and it's just like, not interested. Quite a lazy car, this. The steering wheel's that light that you just can sit here with your arm on the armrest and just make little adjustments with one finger. It's got cruise control, obviously. It's designed for American highways. Now, most of the time it's in two-wheel drive, but you can switch it to four-wheel drive. I doubt most people buying this will, but you can. The dash is like a typical Chrysler Jeep of this era. It's kind of pixelated and cheap looking in that light green colour that they always seem to be in. So yeah, if you're thinking about buying one of these used, you do get an awful lot of car for the money. I know it's not the best built, but if you can live with that, it's got enough character about it to make you forgive it, really. And for £5,000 you'll get a decent one. £6,000 would buy this one with full service history and lots of optional extras. So thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I've got plenty more videos on the way.